UFC 303, Pereira Prochazka 2 went exactly how I thought it would expect in the main event. The other fights on the card, I don't know, especially Ige versus Lopez. What in the world happened to this card? It has just been straight insanity. Since the card was made, to all the cancellations, all the switch-ups, it is finally over, and I am going to be booking every single winner of UFC 303. Alex Pereira all the way down to Vinicius Oliveira. We're going to start it off with Vinicius Oliveira. You could already see one matchup there is going to be Alex Pereira, Magomed Ankalaev. We're going to get into that. We are going to get into that indeed. And maybe you didn't see all of those matchups that I made for all those fighters there. But we do have Vinicius Oliveira taking on Davy Grant. Now, Vinicius had an impressive win. Ricky Simón is no slouch. This dude is on a 3-fight losing streak. Sure, ranked. And then Vinicius Oliveira was on a 5-fight win streak before that. Has a win over Merab Dvalishvili, Montel Jackson, Ray Borg, Rafael Assunção Jackson. These are legit dudes in the bantamweight division. But Vinicius is only 2-0 in the UFC. We really want to give him one more good fight of the night level opponent that, you know, it's going to be hard for him to get the knockout because he doesn't have many decisions on his record. We saw him gas out a little bit against Ricky Simón. I want to see him tested when it does come to those later rounds against the gritty veteran. That gritty veteran is Davy Grant. Was coming off of 2 finishes in a row over Luis Smolka. Then he submitted Rafael Assunção and only lost to Daniel Marcos in a really close fight. Everyone he loses to becomes legit. Marlon Vera, boom, right back into that top 15 and has had a really good career. He beat Jonathan Martinez, lost to Yanez by a split decision, who went in the top 15 after. Marcos is probably going to be in the top 15 very soon. So one more test for Vinicius Oliveira. We could do this, like I said, on the main card of literally any fight night. Doesn't matter. I just want to see that fight. Obviously, you can see some of those. I keep clicking out of it for some reason. Next fight, Ray Saruya versus Jimmy Flick in the UFC's flyweight division. Ray, very impressive, good grappling, good ground and pound, and overall an impressive performance over Carlos Hernandez. Was not able to get the finish, unfortunately. That was only his second decision on his record. He's 10-0, and we got to build the finishes for Ray Saruya. A guy that, you know, is kind of kill or be killed is going to be Jimmy Flick. Why do I keep going out of it? Is going to be Jimmy Flick, to where, you know, he's either going to finish you or you're going to finish him. Obviously, you know, he has had a few decisions here and there in the UFC. I mean, his last fight was a decision in the UFC's flyweight division, but for the most part, man, this guy goes out there to finish fights. 15 submission wins, 6 knockout losses, 2 decision wins, 2 decision losses. If we're looking at an exciting fight to make for this up-and-comer, Ray Saruya, Jimmy Flick is that fight. You put him on the pay-per-view prelims, you got a good finish for a good prospect in Ray Saruya, or we see that Ray isn't actually legit. He loses to Jimmy. Hype train is derailed. This is a good test for Ray Saruya, an exciting fight for Ray Saruya, and a good finish potential for Ray Saruya to get him on a good streak in the UFC. Jimmy Flick, Ray Saruya, I like the fight. Next one is going to be Martin Boudet taking on Don'Tale Mayes. I don't want it on the main card of a UFC fight night. Trust me, it is not going to be that good of a fight. It's really low level heavyweight MMA, but they're right outside of the top 15. You look at guys right here. This is where it ends in top 15 guys. Waldo Cortez Acosta. Then you got those Nascimento. You got the Shamil Gaziev, Martin Boudet, Cara Williams, Don'Tale Mayes. They're still right outside of the top 15. So there's not many fight nights where all 5 guys on that main card are this highly ranked in their weight class. So you could probably find a lower level fight night just to stick this on as the second fight of the main card. Again, I don't really like it. There's not much you can do with Martin Boudet at this point. He beat Andre in a boring fight. Probably beat Don'Tale Mayes in a boring fight. That's just what I'm going to do. Next one, Jillian Robertson taking on Amanda Ribas. I'm going to go to UFC rankings, actually, because I don't really like Tapology's ranking system as much as, obviously, the real rankings. But let's see, Jillian Robertson just beat number 14, Michelle Waterson Gomez. She'll move up to 14, maybe up to 13 or something like that. I don't want her going against another up-and-comer like Yasmin Lucindo, like Luana, like Tabitha, like Loopy, and Angela doesn't deserve to go back down in the rankings. But a girl that does kind of need to test herself against someone below her in the rankings again is a girl coming off a loss against a really good girl, Rose Namajunas. But she's win-loss over and over and over again. Coming off a loss, she did beat Luana Pinheiro before that, but I like to see her just cement her spot in that top 10. I know only girl she just recently lost to was Namajunas, but that's a legit girl to be losing to. Up in the flyweight division, let's defend your space in the women's strawweight division against another grappler like yourself. I mean, you could defend the takedown stylistically. It does make sense for Amanda Ribas to accept because she's good on the ground and has a little bit of better striking than Jillian. But if Jillian's able to out-grapple a girl like Amanda Ribas, Jillian is legit, and that's a very, very good test for Jillian Robertson to put herself right into that top 10. She wins that one, maybe you do her versus the loser of Verna Jandiroba, Amanda Lemos. You do her versus the loser of Suarez Whaley after that, and then you got Jillian Robertson to the title. She could be 3 fights away. This starts it all here. Amanda Ribas, Jillian Robertson. Next one, I like the call-out. Personally, I do like the call-out. Peyton Talbot taking on Adrian Yanez. I don't think Adrian Yanez's most recent win, I'm forgetting who it was against. It was the Vinicius Salvador, I believe. It was a flyweight coming up to the UFC's bantamweight division. Obviously, Peyton is closing and nearing that top 15. Adrian Yanez, I don't believe deserves a shot right back into that top 15 just yet. I like a matchup for Adrian against Cody Garbrandt. I like a matchup with Adrian Yanez against maybe an Ayman Zahabi, something like that. I mean, there's a lot of good matchups you can make, but if you really, really want to push Peyton Talbot, Adrian Yanez actually has a pretty good name in this UFC bantamweight division. He was on a crazy streak, beating some really good guys, finishing some good guys, but then he lost to 2 of the best in that top 15, Rob Font and Jonathan Martinez. This will really prove the hype of Peyton Talbot here. If he wins this one, he is 100% legit, because I know Cameron Simon is really good, but once you start passing that level of the Cameron Simons and you go to the levels of Adrian Yanez, you beat Adrian, you are top 15 level. Those are the only guys able to beat Yanez, are top 15 guys. So I like this one on maybe the co-main event of a fight night, or we put it in Salt Lake City, Utah as the feature prelim. Get people hyped for the main card with an amazing striking matchup between a really good boxer and a really good boxer. This should just be a really, really fun matchup to make for a pay-per-view prelim or for a co-main of a fight night. Maybe just a regular main card of a fight night if it's that good enough. I like this fight a lot. Next one, we do have 2 fighters that won, John Silva and Andre Fili. I don't think Andre Fili did enough to win against Cub Swanson, in my opinion. And John Silva did miss weight, so I don't want him going up in the rankings too much after the Charles Jourdain win. Andre Fili's kind of around that Charles Jourdain range when it comes to the rankings outside of the top 15. And it's a veteran. I mean, he's only 2-0 in the UFC, 2 impressive finishes. But again, he missed weight, so let's put him against a gritty veteran in MSG. Really fun fight for the prelims. And I know if Andre's trying to do the hugging stuff, he's going to get uppercutted like Charles Jourdain did. And John's just not going to let him get away with the stuff Cub Swanson was. So this could be a good way for, if John Silva makes the weight, could be a good way to get him right back into the fans. Good graces with a solid win over a veteran in Andre Fili. And again, like a lot of people I've been talking about here, like Adrian Yanez, if he's able to beat a guy like Andre Fili, I would kind of say he is top 15 level. Because let's check out Andre Fili and his last few losses. Danny Gay, he's in the top 15. Nathaniel Wood, not in the top 15. But I'm still going to count it. I don't care. Because that's like the only guy. Joe Anderson Brito was going to get a top 15 shot. Bryce Mitchell, he is in that top 10. Sodiq Yusuf was in that top 15. Michael Johnson, former top 10. Calvin Kattar, top 10. Yair, top 5. Max Holloway. I mean, everyone that goes on to beat Andre Fili goes on to do great things. I know Nathaniel's kind of that one guy just because he lost. But it was kind of like a robbery, I would say. You know, a lot of fouls in that fight with Mohamed Naimov. I would consider Nathaniel Wood a top 15 level guy as well. So Again, if John Silva's able to go out there, do what he did to Charles Jourdain, knock out Andre Fili, which we know is possible. Andre has been knocked out before, 4 times in his career, against Brito and against Dan Ige recently. It's possible. Put John Silva right into that conversation of, well, we might need to give John Silva a top 15 fight. Maybe one more outside of the top 15 after Andre Fili. But this is a good test. Andre Fili. Where'd I say? UFC 309. I like it. Fun fight. Next one, Paul Craig, Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer called them out. They're right next to each other in the rankings, right outside of the top 15. They both are. Again, Joe Pyfer lost a close decision, 1 round 1 and 2, and lost 3 rounds after that. He only lost by 1 round. Paul has been in the top 15 pretty much his entire career. Just got kicked out, so he's around that 16, 17 range. If either man gets the win here, boom, right back into that top 15. But no way we're making this 5 rounds because there's no need. They're unranked first off, like Joe Pyfer was saying. And it's not going to go past round 2. I mean, come on. 3-round co-main event UFC fight night. Put a nice banger main event as well. Put them next to each other. Mwah. I love it. I love this fight. Again, close your eyes really quick. We're going to glance through some of the matchups here. I'm going to go fast. Okay, that's it. Ian Garry and Kamaru Usman. He had a boring win against Michael Venom Page, but it was a smart win. It was a very smart win. Showed he can wrestle. Showed he can jiu-jitsu. Showed he can grapple. Usman can grapple as well. Usman can wrestle as well. Usman can take you down as well. So, you're not going to be able to do what you did to Michael Venom Page to Usman. In fact, Usman's going to be able to do that to you. This is the biggest test in the career of Ian Machado Garry because it's a guy with really, really good boxing that can take you down at any point in this fight. I know you showed good offensive wrestling in your last fight with Michael Venom Page. Showed good offensive jiu-jitsu. But you haven't fought a wrestler yet, really. Like, there's been no real opponents for Ian Garry that are like super high-level guys on the ground that are just constantly trying to take down Ian Garry. Usman will do that. Usman will strike with you. Sure, he's a good boxer. He can strike with you. Keep it even there. But he can mix in those takedowns as well. And I don't like this being 5 rounds personally. I don't know why. I mean, you could easily do this as a 5-round main event. You could easily do this on whatever the next McGregor card is. Co-main event 5 rounds. I don't know. I don't want it on the fight night. That's the only reason. I'm not saying I don't want it 5 rounds. I don't want it on a fight night main event. If it's 5 rounds on a pay-per-view, so be it. I'd be fine with that. But I don't want it on a fight night. I want it on a big stage, on a Conor McGregor co-main event. If Conor fights this year, I don't know. So I'm just guessing here. I put UFC 309. I'll put it as the co-main event because you probably have Jones versus Stipe. You could do Usman versus Garry as the co-main event, 5 rounds as well. You know, yeah, I like it personally. But we'll see. I think it's a good fight. Because you know, Ian has shown good wrestling, showed good grappling. Might even be able to defend here and keep this on the feet. Could be an exciting striking match. You never know. But yeah. Next one, Macy Chiasson, Kayla Harrison. All right. Reason I'm doing this for UFC 307, we've heard Juliana Pena, Raquel Pennington is in the works for, I believe, the co-main event for UFC 307 for the title. Obviously, Kayla is not going to be fighting for the title, so we got to keep her busy. I'm not saying this just because. Kayla wants to stay busy. She wants to fight on the same card as Juliana Pena and Raquel Pennington. And where was Macy? Macy was 7. She just beat 3. So she's going to be at number 3. Myra's probably going to go below Kayla Harrison. It'll probably be Juliana, Ketlin Vieira, Macy Chiasson, and then Kayla Harrison right there. Ketlin Vieira, if you look at her record in the UFC, yes, she's coming off a win, 1 win, over Penny Kianzad. She had the win over Holly Holm earlier. The win over Tate, she lost to Yana Kunitskaya, Yana Santos, like 3 years ago. And she got knocked out by Irene Aldana. I don't want to see Ketlin Vieira anywhere near a title shot when she's losing to Yana Santos, who's number 12 right now, in the women's bantamweight division. I say run it back, Irene Aldana, Ketlin Vieira, co-main event of a UFC fight night, or just a main card of a UFC fight night. Could get Irene right back into title contention. You do Kayla versus Macy Chasson. Winner of Kayla versus Macy gets the winner of Raquel versus Juliana. That's my personal opinion. I don't think Nunes is going to come back like a lot of people are saying. That's just what I would do there. Next one. And again, Macy's calling for it. She's saying, Kayla's in the way of my title shot. They're probably going to give it to Kayla, so I'd like to just take out Kayla before that and just guarantee that I actually get the shot. Next one, Caio Borralho, Roman Dolidze. I like this one for the co-main event of any fight night. Honestly, Caio has been calling out Jared Cannonier. I believe, was that yesterday or today? I think it might have been yesterday. He called out Jared Cannonier. I think that's a little bit too big of a step up and too big of a drop off for Jared Cannonier. Jared's at 5. I don't think he should go down to 12, personally. I'd like to see Jared stay and fight Nasruddin again. Or I'd like to see Jared fight Brendan Allen. I like that. Or, honestly, Jared fight Jack Hermanson. I mean, there's a lot more fights in the top 10 you could give Jared. He's still in the top 5. Caio getting all the way up there doesn't make sense in my opinion. 2 spots up, because I'm assuming Roman's probably going to go above Jack Hermanson, because he just beat a top 10 guy at light heavyweight. You should probably move above Jack Hermanson, a guy he actually beat. I don't know why he's ranked below him. But yeah, Roman probably goes above Jack, maybe goes above Paulo Costa as well. I don't know. But that'd be a good step up. Get him in that top 10. Caio Borralho, Roman Dolidze, co-main event of a fight night. I like it. Next one, Diego Lopez, Brian Ortega. I'm going to rebook it. I've actually heard, I'm not going to name sources or anything like that. I don't want to out them. I have heard, unconfirmed, just to clear myself, that Yair Rodriguez said no. He didn't want to fight Diego Lopez at UFC 306. He wanted someone else for UFC 306. That's what I was originally going to do. Diego Lopez, Yair at the Sphere, because Brian's he's trying to go up to lightweight. But I don't think the UFC is going to give Brian that shot to lightweight when, he kind of messed up the card a little bit here, had to scramble the UFC to find Dan Ige. Let's reschedule it. You could do a catchweight if you want, Brandon Moreno. What did I just say? Brian Ortega. How did I get them confused? Do a catchweight 150. I mean, Diego says it any weight, anytime, anywhere. Diego will do it at lightweight. I promise you. Diego Lopez will do this fight at lightweight. I swear. No matter what, 145, 150, 155. He's got a lot of time to prepare for UFC 306. Neither are injured. He had the flu-like symptoms and things like that, but they're not injured. So let's do it for the main card opener of UFC 306. Again, whatever weight class. Last one, Ankalaev. Give this man his freaking shot. Oh my God. Dude, Ankalaev has been waiting forever, man. Let's go to light heavyweight. Yuri Prochazka, Alex is beaten. Jamal Hill, Alex is beaten. I mean, Alex is this freaking good. Alex is beaten John Blachowicz as well. Did he beat anyone else in the top 50? No. But it's those 3 guys, and he's beat them 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Alexander Rakic obviously coming off a loss. To Yuri Prochazka, Nikita Krylov has lost to Ankalaev. Johnny Walker has lost to Magomed Ankalaev. Khalil serving his suspension. Volkan's coming off a win. Those are the 2 options. Ankalaev or Volkan. I actually believe Magomed has a win over Volkan Oezdemir as well. I could be wrong. I think he has one earlier. Yeah. A unanimous decision earlier in his career. So, dude, there's no denying at this point, there's nobody else. There is no other argument. He's literally beaten everyone else, or everyone else has lost to Alex. They're on a losing streak. There's no way you could rationalize any other possible light heavyweight contender should be next. Magomed Ankalaev, Alex Pereira, UFC 310, T-Mobile Arena. Let's do it. Let's give Alex Pereira a break. He's been asking for one. He's been taking so many short notice opportunities and winning them in spectacular fashion. But he says, I want a break. I want to return towards the end of the year, November, December. I highly doubt they're going to stack UFC 309. Again, I was saying sorry, I had a hiccup. I was saying putting Ian Garry Usman as the co-main for UFC 309. I don't think they're going to stack and put Alex versus Ankalaev also on 309 with, sorry, I'm blanking. With Jones and Stipe. I think they'll They'll keep that as non-stacked as possible just to sell based off of Stipe and John Jones. And put Alex versus Magomed at 310. I know you might be saying, dude, what are you talking about? Ankalaev is perfect fit for UFC Abu Dhabi. Nah, I'm good. We don't need to put Alex Pereira, the guy that's defended his belt twice already, the dominant champion, in the other guy's home crowd. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. They didn't let him fight at UFC 301, his own home area. So we're not gonna do Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira at UFC 308 in the Etihad Arena. We're not doing that. So let's end the video off here. If I'm saying Jones versus Stipe 309, if I'm saying Pereira, Ankalaev at 310, we got 307. Probably Ilya versus Max Holloway, 306. Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili, 304. Leon versus Balal, lightweight. That's it. Islam, Arman Tsarukyan, UFC 308. I've done it. UFC 303 just ended. 304 is Leon versus Balal. It's Aspinall versus Blaze. That takes care of welterweight and heavyweight. Light heavyweight, UFC 310. Ankalaev versus Pereira, UFC 305. Dricus versus Adesanya. It should be Dricus, Sean Strickland, but what the heck. 308, Islam versus Arman Tsarukyan. Ilya Topuria versus Max Holloway at UFC 307. Merab versus Sugar Sean O'Malley at UFC 306. Then it leaves Alessandro Pantoja, who I already know the date he's going to be fighting on. I've actually already heard. So if you're still here at the end of the video, you're crazy. What are you doing? It's the end of the video. How are you still here? Make sure to like the video, Smash the like button. I'm sorry. Just don't unsubscribe. Yeah, I already know where Pantoja versus is going to take place. I already know. And that should worry you because there's already an opponent. So it can't be Mokaev versus Kopp. It can't be Kara France. It can't be Steve Erceg. These guys all have fights. Could it be Tyra? Could it be Albazi? Could it be Royval? Could it be someone else? I don't know. I do know, but I'm just not going to say. I know when Pantoja's next title fight is, and it already fits. I already did 310, 309, 308, 307, 306, 305, 304. I've done all of them where all these championship fights could take place. Of course, I didn't do women's, did I? Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko, 306. Zhang Wei Li versus Tatiana Suarez. I don't actually know where that one's going to happen. I really don't, to be honest. I'm hoping they just, they could make that the co-main of MSG. They could do that for the co-main of T-Mobile if they wanted to. I don't know what they're going to do with Whaley. And again, Bantamweight is at UFC 307. So that's the only uncertainty for you guys. I know where the flyweight one is. I don't actually know where the strawweight one is. But the only fights we don't really know where it's going to happen, I don't know where Pereira Ankalaev is going to happen, obviously. I'm just speculating there. But the only one I'm really uncertain about is going to be Zhang Wei Li, Tatiana. You can't do 304, 305, just too early. Those cards are kind of already filled. 306, you could do Wei Li versus Tatiana on that card as well. I don't know, three title fights at the Sphere, 2 women fights at the Sphere. I don't know. It's possible. That's a good fight. Suarez versus Wei Li is a very, very good fight. They could do that at the Sphere. They could do 3 title fights at 307, which is already Ilya versus Max and and Juliana versus Raquel. They could add 3 there. But I'd say they're more likely to do 3 at 306. And then 308, it doesn't make sense to do Wei Li versus Tatiana at 308. You'd probably just do Arman Islam and that's it. So kind of just leaves Wei Li versus Tatiana at 309 or 310 probably. 309 or 310. That would make the most sense. But yeah, what do you guys think? Where will Zhang Wei Li and Tatiana end up? Where will Alessandro Pantoja end up? I'm not going to tell you the actual opponent. But yeah, do you like the fights that I say to make next? Again, this is just my personal opinion. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. I really dragged this video out, but yeah, go follow the Instagram. We post just way too much. I'm sorry. And we're interviewing fighters as well. You probably saw some of the interviews on this YouTube channel. We did Deone Barboza, I think like a week ago. Yeah, like a week ago, I think. And we did Steve Garcia. Did we do that yesterday? We did that one yesterday. So we got part 1, part 2, part 3 on the Instagram. But if you're on YouTube here, I mean, you could probably find it. I've already dragged out this video long enough. Yeah, Mr. Beast, yay. View channel. Let me guess, 110 views. Yeah, Steve Garcia. I just farted. Steve Garcia interview. Go check it out. This dude's a freaking animal, a beast. We got a lot of you guys giving some support right there. I really do appreciate it. We got some ad revenue from it too. I don't really care. I'm making nothing off of it. I'm losing money from electricity and Wi-Fi on this YouTube channel. But oh yeah, if you want to support, Patreon is in the link below, the pinned comment below. You know, if you want to support. But again, I'm losing money here. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Check out the interviews. I like doing the interviews way more than predictions or anything like that. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.